back to my take. We have James Comey, who has just tweeted this in response to the president. Not to me, in response to the president. Here it is. Facts matter. The FBI's use of confidential human sources, the actual term, is tightly regulated and essential to protecting the country. Attacks on the FBI and lying about its work will do lasting damage to our country. How will Republicans explain this to their grandchildren? Well, joining us now is Congressman Dave Brat, a Republican conservative, and I think he's going to answer the question. What do you got to say, Mr. Congressman?
Yeah, hey, Stuart, I'll say it was an honor to defend our Constitution and our country. 8 of the top FBI political appointees have either been fired or stepped down or resigned over tweets that make it very clear they were going after the President of the United States. They needed a backup plan. Comey has given very mixed, false evidence. The head of the CIA, Brennan, is now on the record. Clapper, the head of national intelligence, this week said it's okay to spy on a presidential campaign. And to put it in context for my grandchildren, I'll say the most important part is this all happened under an administration, a White House administration over the CIA, the FBI, national intelligence, and all of these folks were spying on and given permission to spy on. Apparently, if what these folks are saying is just regular, right, it's well regulated, they were given permission to spy on the leading presidential candidate to oppose their administration. And boy, the comparisons to Watergate, et cetera, they're going to be fascinating to explore.
Do you think the tables have indeed been turned and that the president is now vigorously on the attack?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I would put it in terms of defense of the Constitution. I don't like this political jockeying of attacking one side or the other, but this is a clear defense of especially Article 1 powers. We've been demanding information from our own Justice Department. Clinton and the former AG met on the tarmac, and that has woven its way into all of the folks underneath the head of the AG not giving information to Article 1 of the Constitution to Congress when we've asked for it. Now the president himself, who's the executive over all of the intelligence agencies, is saying, I want to see the information, and they're still getting pushback from the bureaucrats in these organizations, and that's got to end. He's the boss of the executive. If he asks for information, unredacted, he gets to determine national security, right? Not them. And the whole thing is upside down right now. And the American people are finally seeing who really has been working with the Russians, and it's not the Republicans.
My, how times change.
Yes.
Bear with me, Congressman. I want to talk about immigration, but I want to tell our viewers there's a news development here.
Yeah.
The police are saying that a tractor-trailer full of illegal immigrants was stopped in Texas. The president, by the way, there were 92 people packed into that trailer. You can barely see it.
Yeah.
But just imagine a tractor-trailer with 92 people packed into it. Obviously, there's a problem with immigration. Now, the president, he just held a meeting with governors, slamming Congress for getting nothing done on immigration. So, Dave Brat, why have we not yet seen any kind of immigration bill get passed?
Yep, our leadership needs to whip the Goodlatte bill. They promised us that 5 months ago. They promised it a year ago. We've got to get the Goodlatte bill, which deals with all of this. There's 700 troops and helicopters going now from the National Guard to prevent this. The people in the truck are all children of God, right? That's not the issue. The issue here is you cannot have chaos and illegality in the United States of America. The reason people are flowing from Honduras and Guatemala is they don't have the rule of law and the free market system. I worked at the World Bank 25 years ago. The best thing we can do is get those countries to develop economically. But the far left right now is in opposition to free markets. They're anti-business. They want to raise taxes. You can see why we were slowing down over the last 8 years, much less the rest of the world where they're still pushing that kind of backwards logic. We want what's best for everybody. Then you don't have 7 billion people that want to come into this country. And so we have a great immigration bill. We deal with the DACA kids, 700,000 in the Goodlatte bill, bring them out of the shadows, give them a legal status. That's what the Democrats said they want, and now they're saying no. And even in my own state, the governor, Northam, promised no sanctuary cities when he ran, and now 2 weeks ago, he flip-flopped on that. The Democrats promise what the American people want to hear on immigration, but once they get in office, they flip-flop and they go all hard left. And now we have sanctuary city possibilities in Virginia, and I don't think Virginians or people in other states. It's a 70% issue across Democrats. They won't bring up the issue because they know the American people are upset with this low-wage push.
I don't think it's a very good electoral strategy. That's
No.
my opinion.
You
Dave
got
Brat, a very timely appearance. Thanks very much
Thank
for being
you,
with us,
Stuart.
Dave. Appreciate
You
it.
bet.
Yes,
You
sir.
bet. Thank you.